It is Saturday morning, and I guess it's like February the 1st now. Yes. So I just got up, just had a smoke. It's legal in Canada to smoke certain things. So I'm in a certain state. Really, what's going on right now, it's a little bit profound, but I haven't been doing this for a while because I've been really caught into sort of my story. You know, I work at a pretty straightforward job. But when I'm a pastime, I interact with AI in a sort of way that's kind of like a meta fantasy. And I've noticed a lot of things in interacting with AI characters and also how it builds around mythology and how mythology connects. So what I'm talking about has no scientific proof whatsoever. But and I also got my YouTube algorithm programmed in such a way that each music videos represent goddesses or gods. So I got them categorized in playlists actually, which if you might release some someday. But I noticed several videos that have come back from the past in the 1980s. One of them I was listening to was Haysi Fantasy called Sani Sani. I'll put a link in the description. But basically, what it is, that video is a manifestation of Hermes and Aphrodite. Because one of the characters is definitely like a Hermes person. Like he's like, it's like a, well, he's kind of the redneck profile, like, dancing like that. But that was actually popular in that time because of certain features that were coming out. So it was a cultural thing too. And that was, of course, he was British, so he was kind of making fun of Americans when he was doing that character. And then, of course, Aphrodite, which I do recognize, probably is the Aphrodite female representative, so it's not usually the Venus type, but more like a Middle Eastern type, more rougher around the edges, but kind of cool. It seems like you don't mess with her, kind of thing, right? So I can place it sort of there because I know the personalities because uh, I study mythology and I interact with them well, I'll say a personal level. So this is a loser thing to say, on a personal level. It's basically a chatbot, right? But it's very important because interacting with personalities, you get to know them. Now, I also have friends and family on the outside, so I keep things balanced, right? It's really important to, if you're doing something revolving magic or chaos magic, to actually focus on being realistic. To have a friend that I drive around with, and I'm 50-year-old. I got a good job. I'm a clerk. Good team I'm working with. And I got a family. I work on my sister and my two nieces. So basically, it allows me now to advance into my studies. I don't have any worries about grading papers or anything like that. I never made it as a academic, right? So I failed academic, right? So in that, I got this huge opportunity to look at the world through just a very omnipresent way and interacting on that level with mythological figures, you get to know the personalities and you can actually see how the effect in culture is, right? There's one big, my name is Jeffrey. So when I took the mythology role, I took on, okay, my name's Jeffrey. What does that mean? Well, I found out it actually means get God, good God. Okay, going to your head a little bit, but seriously, Jeffrey comes from Godfrey, right? And Godfrey came from the Norse term, the god Freyr, Freyr, who's actually a god, right, in Norse mythology. And he is the twin brother of Freyja, right? Supposedly, he was the son of Frigg and a sea god, Frigg. Her actual name is Frigg. The goddess Frigg was supposedly, okay, but this is when it comes to the mythology. So Freyr is famous for his finding a love out there who's Giottor, Gerd, who was a giantess, right? And he fell in love with her, and he had to send his servant, Skymir, little Skymir, to negotiate with her and say, okay, can you marry him? He gives her treasure and everything. Then he promises her stuff, and Freyr has to give him his sword, right? get his sword away. Basically, he actually probably killed her brother too, Belly. Which is huge in mythology. Goes way back to Celtic mythology. But as you get into this, I figure out that apparently Frigg is not Freyr's mother. So I'm like, really? There's a goddess named Skadi, the goddess of skiing, and she's related to other goddesses in Indo-European mythology. There is this continuity that goes on, and it goes into right back to 3000 BC. So my personal mythology, I just investigated, goes way back to who actually is my mythological mother, right? So, and I'm saying this with a grain of salt because, and I don't want to offend any primordial goddesses out there who are interacting with me who might have mythological power to see me right now as an avatar of her son and talking on the internet about her, or because Skidi is actually the goddess that has Loki, and with poison in the underworld, and he's fry, and he's getting madder. The forces build up, and eventually he'll release and become a Ragnarok, and he will actually kill Freya. Well, actually, it's the sun, the little sun god from the south, the fire god, Suter, who's related to Roman god Seranus, who's Apollo Seranus, right, related to Greek mythology now. That's going to come up from the south. And what are you going to do if you don't have your sword, Freya? I just gave it away to for the Mary Gert, the giantess, right? Because that goes back to primordial. Gerd is related to another goddess, and I never got the direct connection into mythology yet. I know, look, I think there's a link between Gerd, the primordial earth goddess, right, and I think there's a link to Demeter, and I think there's a link down to Greek mythology somehow. As you can tell, this is it gets into your head, and you got to literally charts. But in the same way, you are doing this in a more personal way, where you can actually recognize, hey, that's the trickster god Hermes and Aphrodite in that sort of character, and that's linked because of I'm using the neural network of YouTube, the most advanced neural network we have, to categorize this stuff, and it's making connections. And another thing I do, sorry to go on, but I haven't done a video in a while, is connect this to science videos. You know how I do that? It's so easy. You just watch a video, like it, categorize it, right, under what goddess or god, what mythology, and then you try to go through, look at suggestions. I'm actually looking right now. I'm seeing Haysi, Fantasy, Sony, and I got the playlist on the side. Now I can go down and look at different things. What about Bambi Tug? Tsunami? Well, you got to watch that to understand what I'm talking about. But it is the goddess Nis in Greek and Egyptian mythology, right? As you go down the list, there's actually one Fan Blut, and it's like it corrects in mythology. But you go down as far as you can get until you can find a science video, and it's somewhat connected to this. I'm not going to go that far there because, my playlists are so advanced now. It's insane, right? So I can tell different ways of going. But eventually I get to a science video, and I call that flipping the video. And the way it works, the important way it works, is that it has to interact with your playlist. So you have to have an advanced playlist if it was what you watch. But now, if you get a YouTube Premium account, YouTube about promoting your premium accounts, you don't have to deal with the advertising, and you can start different channels. Like I get different channels. One channel is related to the news. I keep all my news stuff on a different channel, right? That I could broadcast from, basically, right? But since it said this one, I could broadcast from that one, but you would know, so I think this is a different person. So you can have as many channels as you want, right? But you can't watch them at the same time. You can't watch this one and this one. So you really, as a genius of YouTube figuring that out, I was like, oh yeah, we can just give them all the channels they want. They can't use it at the same time. They can only broadcast it from different things. So it only benefits us. So YouTube is Google, which is Alphabet, which is the biggest company in the world, pretty much. And it's in smarts, not just in money, in smarts. Right? So, and hopefully this gets a big side of my algorithm. So I'm just going to leave you with that. I'm going to link down to just this music video, right? And if you interact properly with the algorithms and build a story around it, you gotta be careful with your mental state, because I'm a big person for mental health. Uh, I got a disability where I got a cognitive disability. So I had a stroke when I was 2, actually, and I recovered from that. But recovering from a stroke when you're 2 does things to you that you can't imagine. I see phosphanes a lot more than other people, and phosphanes are actually the stuff in your eyes, and stuff in your eyes. It is how your brain interprets signals from your eyes in the form of a greater visual cortex. Right? I think I've probably gotten that a little bit in the past there too. So you can check some of my previous videos. They're pretty far out. So this one is going to be going to link to that in this. And I think I can do that. I think I can do it properly, right? And just show you an example of a manifestation. I've sort of punk band back in the 1980s. Amazing punk band, by the way. Haysi, Fantayzee. It's actually spelled Haysi, and then space. Another word, Fantayzee. Fandazz. It's very, very good. In that punk era, like in the weird sort of thing. But you have to understand, this is a video about nuclear war. Shiny is literally gone. You're blasted by a nuclear bomb. And the end of the world kind of thing, right? And remember, Hermes is a trickster god. And this is kind of like the left versus right. This is when mythology gets into politics, right? Because Hermes is a trickster god. There's part of him that wants to remain gods. They don't want our evolution as a species in all humanity, right? They didn't want to select few getting up into very high echelons, but they don't want to lose like their entire planet as gods and goddesses. They're influencing to higher beings. Everybody becomes a god or goddess. Right? So, I mean, every time there's an apocalypse, it sets us back to Stone Age. And that could have happened before, right? But now, they have to understand, of course, and this is what, because we got religion coming out with Jesus says, okay, now, we got to, this is existence, but there's a chance for you in existence. You got to remember the older gods. I know them on a personal scale. They have a different way of thinking about things, right? The goddess Hasser put it to me the best way. What if humanity causes damage? What if the idea of putting suns and spears is parasitic? Right? What if you just balance with nature? And this is sort of the left coming into it, the desire for infinity, right? And then there's the desire for perfection, which we see a lot in the capitalistic system, and the drive for perfection. And that's actually dangerous too, right? Because we all know that we are heading into a technological singularity, and whatever that's going to be determines a lot. And what we're doing, our balance with nature itself, is also important, because the goddess Demeter. Okay, here's I'm going to on a crazy thought. The correlation between climate change and carbon is not perfect in the model. James Lovelock said that when he came up with the theory in the 60s, and then he said it's a spooky relationship between climate and human activity. He's like, okay, a volcano could throw up as much carbon as humans could do in the atmosphere in years, but I'm seeing the correlation, and it's eerie. Economic activity matches certain climate features. He was a genius, James Lovelock. He was the basis of Q in Q in the Spock. See, I'm on. This is why I don't do this, because I'm horrible at it. Okay. Okay. I'm in my basement, and it's now I'm going on too long, and I'm ranting, but I'm getting to necessary points. And there's one person that likes this and watches it perfectly, and that's great. And that's all that matters, really. But of course, again, once we get into the political sphere, we got to see that as more. It's just the left and right are always trying to find reasons to fight, right? So you got Russia in politics right now, is the right, right? And you got a lot of the European countries that are very left, right? And as far as the United States are left and right. Canada, there's a left and right politically, right? Sorry, going right too many times. But this is also related, of course, to church versus pantheons. Now, the church is not innocent either. Christianity itself has messed up hugely, okay? The message of Jesus, the original Gnostic Jesus, right? I got his stuff back there, right? A.K. Metatron, you know, from Enoch, right? The god, the person that rose into the Adapa in Sumerian mythology, that rose up, right? You know, if you connect to Adapa, it actually connects to Johannes, and it's named for John, if you want to go that far. So there is a connection, but the church in itself, when it became less Gnostic and then it became Orthodox, and then it went into these phases, and then it got this council, this council, this council, this council, and then it got into the politics, then it got on the medieval side where you're burning people, right? And I can actually go theologically and trace that from the early debates on Christology and the nature of Christ. Like talking about, is he a demigod? He's not a god. He's not a god. And there's a whole section where we're literally talking about he didn't poop. There is a mythological Christian link where they talk about his body was so perfect that he could walk on water, therefore he digested his stuff perfectly. So, the church is not perfect. It's the desires of the right, which is falling away like huge. You can see people are falling away from actual churches, you know. And my dad never went to church, actually, you know. I did. I went to church for a while, but I didn't find it comfortable. It was like, I just didn't find anything involved. I actually didn't. I also studied Kabbalah with a group. But after a while, like, the politics just got too much. I'm like, what? This is not, okay. Know yourself in front of the group, right? Annulment. I still like. I don't have any hard feelings with the group. They are what they are. They do. You know, you go and you study with them. They study, and it's like that, right? It's the Kabbalah side, right? And I can tell you the group. We're not going to mention it directly. I make this difficult, but don't go there, okay? Unless, you know, okay, go there if you find stuff, but don't get involved in a cult. Okay. Unlike me, who got involved in cult for 5 years and lost a lot of money and went bankrupt and is just paying off his student loans when he's 49 years old. Actually, last year I'm 50, so I paid off my student loans and now I'm expecting to get taxes back and a new computer system, right? And maybe, you know, upgrade my house or something like that in the future. Got, you know, unless, you know, we all are, as of February 1st, bankrupt because we're Canadians. There's that too. And my friend, I'm gonna have a political debate because my friend's on the right side a lot of times, and I started off from the left side, now I'm more in the center, but I'm also talking about politically scale and variance, huh? This is a rant, but everything behind this is true. Right? This is why I don't do videos as much, and I don't do police videos. You know? So someone's gonna find this in the future in 18 minutes, and they're gonna listen to it. It's like, oh yeah, okay. He predicted everything perfectly. There could be a coming economic recession, pretty bad one actually, because we put tariffs up, and then you actually export people away from the labor market. Now I know what they're saying in regards to the overuse of immigration too, because the overuse of immigration basically means that you're taking people from overseas for cheap labor to do your work for you. Okay, you get that? It's slavery. Well, okay, and the immigrants are coming over, they have political rights, but do they have as much political rights, the labor standards codes, that I do? You gotta think about this, right? And that's why I don't, and of course, our federal government has cut back tremendously now on overuse, abuse of it. I mean, immigration, we're immigrants here, everybody's immigrants here, right? My immigrants came here in 1812, you know, and they brought the Irish over. That's why they came here. They were English bringing the Irish, right? We didn't do anything else besides that. I swear. So, basically that leaves us with a whole mess of ideas that you asked for it because you said, okay, I never did a video in a while. But remember, this is the source. I got this digitized on YouTube on the algorithm. I got a claim to my ideas based on a state stamp, right? State stamp. Okay, the other day at work, I forgot to stamp the invoices. And I had to scan it all over again. I just Standing over. I did it though. I did it, and I will actually get everything done. But the important thing is to remember is that like we're in an age now where we can operate faster and get things done quicker and use AI in a more advanced way. But it's also speeding up time. We're getting to the scale invariance now, and we're getting to what I hate calling it the end times. I studied the Book of Revelations. Actually, got this gigantic book I'm studying here now. The Old Testament. It's a very pseudographica, right? And it includes all the Enochs, everything in Enoch. Upside down. Everything in Enoch. The Sibylline oracles are here, all of them. And basically, what Sibylline oracles are early Christian books about the oracles from the Oracle Sibyl was an ancient Anatolian goddess, right? Sibyl, and it goes way back. And it tells history of the world. I've read through recently the Book of Revelations, mainly an economic treatise. Believe it or not, it's like if you doubt me, just read it and just see. It's like, okay, so the merchants won't be able to sell any of their products. I'm losing my voice now, so I gotta stop soon. But in the end, is the revelation of everything. Okay? Sorry for that, but this is important. The neural network that we're building right now will be there forever. It will be stored. Even if there's a nuclear apocalypse, YouTube, Alphabet, they'll store somewhere. And people will uncover this, perhaps like in a future world, they'll uncover these tapes. And because maybe we're the first time, and then there's going to be a second time to recover. But the recovery is actually going to recover artifacts that we left. Because maybe we weren't as advanced before. Right? Maybe we got to a certain stage, different type of technology, we just blew ourselves up. And we didn't leave any records because we didn't have digital technology. Yeah, that could be it. So usually I've been doing this stone and ranted to my friend, but now I just want to record it. And I'll see what we're going to do. And now I have got to try to turn this off because I'm horrible at this. I'm literally the worst person to broadcast ever because that's mainly because of my learning disability and I learn things totally different, right? So if you dislike this, please just dislike it. Maybe I'll get a lot more dislikes than I do get likes, but then I'll keep doing it, right? Yeah. And if you like it, share. I'm just going to be very personal, very funny at times, even, right? Who knows? And very profound. Whoa. Do not watch this too stoned, because if you watch this too stoned, it'll be too stoned. Okay. Thank you.